The following episode may contain sensitive content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Tracey's dying from a laugh attack right now.
I am. I'm such a giggle goose.
Oh, she's a
Tracey,
10-year-old.
a listener told me that your laugh is the best laugh. And I
lying.
said, isn't it? No, I'm telling you. And I was like, isn't it contagious? And they're like, yeah, it makes me laugh too. And I'm like,
Well,
that's my girl.
Damn.
Thank you very much to whoever said that. Makes me feel good.
I love your
telling
laugh, Tracy.
Me too.
It is contagious.
Me too.
Speaking of listeners, I'm excited. I want to give a shout out to our listeners out in Europe. I have found out that we have some listeners out there. Like, I
In
love
Belgium?
it.
International?
And yeah,
Yeah.
we've gone international. Where again, Nikki?
In Belgium,
Belgium, Czech
In
Republic,
Prague.
and Prague.
I was like, wait, because like I know somebody in Amsterdam. So I was like, oh, that's probably where it's going to be at.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Belgium
so fucking
and
cool.
Czech Republic. There was
Wow.
another place. I think it was in Israel. I was like, wait a minute. What? Obviously,
bad.
we have a bunch in DR.
Damn. We've gone
Gracias.
international. I love it.
Danke, merci,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
now we gotta.
all the
Oui,
thank
oui,
yous and all the
everyone.
languages.
Thank goodness my passport's up to date. I'm ready to travel the world.
Just
I
let
mean,
us
if we
know
need
we'll
to like go
tour.
on tour, thank
Right.
you.
But maybe we should introduce ourselves first.
Oh shit.
And the podcast.
Oh, the podcast, yes. I'm Joe, or Giovanni.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Nikki. And this is...
the show must go on.
Wow, that was so bad.
That
but
was
so
so
good at the same
bad.
time.
Oh man, we're never gonna get good at this. Like, please don't hold your breath. Don't get your hopes up.
Perfection is not
Yeah.
in order.
That's
So
okay. That's what they're here for.
Last
Big ol' mess.
episode, it might have been last episode or the episode before that, Tracy, you recommended me to watch Love is Blind, and I wanted to say fuck you because
I did not
I'm-
recommend it. I just said I was
Yes, you
watching it.
did. Well,
did
I took it
not.
as a recommendation because that's what we do on this podcast.
Well, okay, then that's your fault.
And I am fucking hooked. And the finale's tonight. I haven't watched it yet, and I can't wait to stop talking to you bitches so I can turn on my Netflix and watch the last episode.
The disrespect.
Of Love
This
is
is
Blind,
so
yeah.
season
disrespectful.
6.
But also, I
love you
kinda get
guys.
it.
But Love is Blind, man. If you guys are listening and you haven't watched season 6, get to it. This is a phenomenal season. Like, I love everyone
was
on
good.
this season. I want them all to like succeed. I'm rooting for them, but except for
Oh,
two
wow.
people. Except for two people.
There's always gonna be an asshole. Doesn't matter.
I'm okay. I have to say that I put a pause on it because I needed to watch True Detective
Oh.
this week.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did watch when they like moved in together up to that point.
Oh, so you haven't.
So I haven't seen like the build up to the wedding.
So
weddings.
I will just leave it at that. I won't say anything else.
I mean, there's one couple that I cannot stand, and I'm like, they're not gonna make it.
Well, Nikki hasn't watched it, so why don't we comment next week? But I'm eager
I
to
don't
find
think
out.
I'm really gonna watch it.
Okay,
I just
so Tracey,
sit
what
when
couple
my
is that?
boyfriend watch.
Jimmy and Megan
Heather-
Fox look alike.
Heather? Heather?
Oh my god!
Jimmy and Heather?
No.
Okay.
That's not her name.
I
Is it?
I saw that encounter. I saw it on TikTok.
I don't know what's going on there. You have to finish the season. I'm not going to say anything else.
Oh, for sure.
We'll,
I mean,
we'll comment next week because I don't want to. I don't want to cloud your
anything?
judgment, and I kind of don't want to
Okay.
spoil it, but you just keep watching,
Okay.
and then we'll talk
Cloud
about
it.
Oh, I will.
Cloud it.
Oh, I will watch it. Don't you worry.
Oh, I remember last week there was a movie I wanted to mention of what we were watching, and it was Shiva Baby. Have you guys seen this movie?
No, what's
Shiva
it called?
Baby. Shiva Baby. It's kind of like I don't know if it's considered indie, but it came out a couple of years ago, and I was bored one day. I've always wanted to watch it because it had really good ratings, nearly 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I was like, you know what? Let me put it on. It's only an hour and like 15 minutes long, so it wasn't that long. But holy shit!
Is there anybody in it?
I loved it. Yes. Not really. There's a new and upcoming actress. What's her fucking name? She's in the movie Bodies, Bottoms. Let me see. Look up her
Bodies,
name. Shiva
Bottoms.
Baby. Oh, it's Rachel Sano. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. And also with Diana Agron from Glee.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
she's in
haven't
it.
heard that name in a while.
I haven't
Yeah.
either. Now, sorry, Diana, if you're listening, but I did not like your performance in Glee. I didn't think her acting was that well, but I think in Shiva Baby, she does a phenomenal job. Like, wow.
Interesting.
So
Growth.
maybe I blame the directors and the writers from Glee. They didn't showcase her well because she does so good in this film.
It wasn't that like Glee her first job ever.
I think so. She was so young. This was so long
Probably.
ago. So I'm not holding it against her because I love
Yeah.
Glee. I loved her character, but it's like night and day to see her growth. Like, wow. But anyway, just putting that recommendation out there.
Okay.
Nikki, what
Where
did
did you
watch?
watch
Oh.
it?
Oh, I saw it on, I think it's on Prime Video.
I'll look it up so I can watch
Okay.
it. Wait. So before, I don't think we talked last week. Did we talk about the SAG Awards?
No, because I don't think, had it happened by then?
I think they had because I was out of town, so I didn't really like watch them when they happened. It was like a Saturday too, which is so weird.
It was really weird. And it was on Netflix.
It was on Netflix, and I wonder if it's still there. Maybe I should watch it.
I think it's still there.
And there was the People Choice Awards too,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Well,
watch any of
I'll
that.
be honest, I didn't watch
Me
any of
either.
it, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, but the SAG Awards, I feel like they're so important, because it's your
Yeah.
peers. So
I
I feel like we should definitely, if you have time this week, we should watch it so we can talk about it next week. I'm gonna try to watch this weekend Poor Things. Because it's available to like rent on one of the platforms. So I'm
The
gonna
Oscars
try
are
to
this
do
Sunday, too.
This Sunday?
Yeah, they're
The
this
10th,
Sunday.
yeah.
Guys, I don't have time to watch all of this stuff.
No.
I'm also being sucked in by Vanderpump Rules.
Still.
Speaking of
Still.
the SAG Awards, I know that Lily Gladstone, I think she won Best
She
Actress.
won the SAG,
for
yeah.
the SAG for Killers of the Flower Moon. Good for her.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's a movie that I'm trying to get myself to watch, but it's like 3 fucking hours.
3.5 hours long.
It's like 3.5 hours long.
have
That's
time.
longer
Which is
than
funny
Oppenheimer.
because then we just watched a show that was like an hour long episode and there were 6 of them. So if you
Yeah.
binge it, that's 6 hours,
Yeah.
but a 3.5
If
hour
you
long
binge
movie.
the way Tracy did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I watched it on a weekly
Right.
basis.
I did like one a night. I split
Oh,
it
okay,
up.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
It's actually okay. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I just wanted to, because I wanted to say that it's good that you watched it separately.
Because it's heavy too.
It's dark.
Yeah.
So-
Literally.
Literally, yeah. So this Monday or this Tuesday was the 25th anniversary of Cruel Intentions. And we actually talked about it on our first episode of the podcast because it reminded me of Saltburn. And I saw so many posts of Cruel Intentions and the lines and I was like,
And
oh
Ryan
my God,
Phillippe's
this
ass.
is like, yes, this is Saltburn. Like full on. I don't know.
That's what Joe noticed.
Yep, only him.
Hey, you show me a bare ass, I'm gonna look at it. Especially like Ryan Phillippe's ass.
And
Very attractive man.
I don't know if you guys saw that, but it came out today. The trailer of the movie The Idea of You with Anne Hathaway. It's a rom-com, and I feel like she hasn't done that in so long.
I saw the trailer and I have a comment about it.
I'm kind of
Comment on
excited to see it because it's going on Prime. It's not going to the theaters. It's a streaming platform. And I don't know what the fuck that girl is doing. She's reverse aging. Like, she looks so good.
So good.
I think she's like 40 and she looks like 31 in the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, she is playing an older character based on the trailer.
Yeah, but still.
But she still looks good.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Like, her actual age, I think she's like 38, 39, or 40.
She looks the same as she
And
did 10 years ago.
Wow.
I will say,
what was your comment about
my comment is that these movies need to hire better marketing teams because I saw the whole trailer. I mean, I saw the whole movie in the trailer. The trailer is 3 minutes
just
long,
give it all
and
away.
I'm like, I already know what's going to happen. I know
Yeah.
how they meet, how they fall in love. I know that she's older, he's younger, he's a rock star, and I already know the ending. I'm just like, what the hell? There's no room for suspense. I was like, why spend my time watching a film when I already know what's going to happen? I just hate that. But
They should go back to how they used to do it in the day. When a young man meets an older woman.
Yes.
yeah, maybe that's
And
used to
that's
be
why
Tracy.
they pay me the big
Tracy,
bucks.
you should work. You should. I know that comment, that reference from The Holiday.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But Tracy, you should do that. Write a letter.
Okay.
Hire.
just
If you work in a movie trailer business, hire Tracy.
I would love
And
to do
also tell your friends to listen to the podcast.
That too.
that. Done.
Okay, so there's two more things. This is like, I'm not giving like movie news here.
Yes, let's go.
I love it.
Talk
So
movies.
I saw today that there's a new documentary coming on Apple TV Plus about Steve Martin. It's a 2-part. It's about his life and how he became who he is today. And he says how he was in his younger years, like super anxious constantly while he was being successful. And now he's like the happiest he's ever been in his life in his 70s. And it comes out on March 29th.
That is so sweet.
And I know, I'm like, it made my heart, really warm when I watched it. I was like, oh.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you want to watch something wholesome. And this one I saw 30 minutes ago, and I was writing it down through the call. So, Dakota Johnson made a statement about Madame Web movie.
Oh, the Madam. Yeah. Because it
Madam
did not
Web,
do well.
Yeah.
So she says that she's not surprised it flopped. She says she'll probably never do anything like it again. In these big movies, decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committee. And she's right. I am actually not a fan of her, and I think that was tainted by 50 Shades. I read the first book. I liked it. The second one, I was like, I'm going to throw up. And then when the movie came, I saw the trailer, and I was like, I'm never going to watch this. And because I didn't like it even in the trailer. So I feel like for me, her performance as an actress, I already have a judgment, a clouded judgment.
Yeah.
I didn't care for Dakota until I saw The Lost Daughter with Olivia Colman.
Thank you. Yes. I was just thinking that. She was really good.
Olivia.
Okay, I have to watch
Olivia,
it.
if you ever listen to this podcast, I want to be best friends with you. But Dakota
please.
Johnson.
All of us. Let's go out and have
Let's go
a
have
drink.
a drink and get wasted. I know she'd be down for that. But Dakota Johnson blew me away in that film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen it, Nikki?
No, I have to watch
you
it.
should
so
watch
my,
that film.
my
Dakota
okay.
did such a fucking great job. Like,
Yeah, she
The
held her
Lost
own because
Daughter.
it's a really good cast.
Yeah, really great
Let me
cast. That
write
movie
it
gave me
down.
anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
I was constantly
Yeah.
anxious. Well, thank you, Nikki, for bringing that up for us.
Yeah, that was fun.
In case you haven't noticed, this week we will be talking about the HBO, or sorry, is it Max or HBO? I don't fucking know.
It's
I guess
Max.
it's
Oh, it's
Max.
Max. Nicole does her homework. I don't. It's a series that is available to stream on Max now, called True Detective, and we'll be discussing specifically season 4, created and directed by Isa Lopez. Tracey, give us the synopsis.
Sure. All right.
I love how I boss people around. Do your job.
I know. Thank you.
No. He's like, thank you, Nicole. Now, Tracy,
Now,
do
Tracey,
this.
go. I love being a boss. I love being a boss.
And I obey. I'm like, whatever you say, master.
Yes, because
Don't obey.
be the
It's a little
submissive.
bit.
I'm the dom. I'm the dom. You're the sub.
That sounds about right. Okay. The synopsis is the season is set in the fictional town of Ennis, Alaska, and follows the investigation behind the disappearance of 8 men from a research station.
Dum, bum,
Which,
bum.
that is just like bare minimum of really what that season. Like, there was so much
like
going
a really
on in this.
surface thing.
Right.
Yeah, just like, just at a glance.
Right. Yes.
Just to sort of get you going. Because, wow.
and
so much
And
going
also
on.
going back to what I wanted to say earlier on when you told me you watched it separately per night. You watched one episode. If you have not watched it, listeners, if you haven't, go watch it, then come back. But it is important that you watch it slowly because it's heavy, it's dark. Sometimes it felt like I needed a breather. It's really, really intense. Also, who the fuck lives there?
right. What the
What's
fuck
wrong
lives
with
there?
people?
Also, like, is that a
The
real
constant
place?
snow? No, it's not real.
It's not. But there are obviously towns and cities in
Hell
Alaska
yeah.
that are that.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yes. And they're dark for days and
Right.
months
Yeah.
You know,
out of the year.
Isn't
and
it half of the year? Something
with
like that?
Yeah.
the culture
Something like that.
is like that. And I saw, I don't remember the source, but I saw on TikTok, of course, because we believe everything we see on TikTok, that Alaska has one of the highest crime rates in our country. I didn't realize that. Now it's
Because I'd be depressed there too. I'd be killing everyone.
like
It is very isolated.
very isolated.
It's
But
very
also,
isolated and
the rates were based on per
The weather.
population. So I'm assuming the population in Alaska is not
Oh, it's
that
it's
big,
way
high,
smaller.
but you know the crime rates are higher for that reason. But anyway, yeah, I don't know who the fuck would live in that town. I wouldn't. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's in everybody's business. Everybody be fucking everybody. Like
Also, like, did you see these houses? I was no.
what they were?
no.
What you thought they were ugly?
Yes, but I
mean, they're like
it's not about
shacks.
the
Sorry.
yeah, it's they're not actual houses.
right.
They're
Yeah.
they're
No
I don't
insulation.
know,
They must be
four
freezing.
walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look like they're used to it too. I don't like the cold. Like I could not survive.
Oh, hate it. Hate the colds.
Hate it.
It's
Absolutely
so
not.
intense.
They were in 20
It's-
layers, and I was like,
You guys are
freezing.
saying cold, and it's like that's not cold. That's triple times the word cold.
Yeah.
and they were going outside way too much.
Way
All the
too
time
much.
going
Like,
outside,
stay
and
home.
it's
I mean-
constant flurries with the snow, and it's like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to run after you. You got to
Mm-hmm.
put on your 2 coats and
I would
10
have
socks
them-
and boots, and
Seasonal depression at its best.
Oh, for sure. Tracey,
I can't imagine.
is this in the fun facts about where it was filmed?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Okay. 'Cause
Okay.
I want to know. So I'll leave that
I'm
Of
excited.
course, I
for
got
that,
you.
too.
until
Yeah.
the end. But yeah, the
Yeah.
codes, because that's immediately what I thought. I was like, the actors, are they actually filming in this fucking freezing weather? But we'll find out toward the end. So guess what? You have
If
to
they
listen to the three of
weren't,
us talk
wow,
shit.
that looked really, really good. Yeah, they have to listen to us talking shit.
So let's jump into this beast. Who wants to start?
Where to start?
I'll start. Okay.
I mean, it's really hard to start. We can start with episode 1 and the setting of the story.
Well,
We are in Alaska, and they're showing us this research station.
yes.
I feel like that's like the first thing we see. And you see this, I want to say like 8 men isolated completely. You know, you can tell that they've been there for a long time because they're playing music, they're cook. It's like the moment we're in, we know that's their daily routine. Every day and it's dark, so there's no daylight at all because it's day 1 of
Darkness.
no daylight. Oh, by the way, True Detective season 4, it's called Night Country.
Night Country. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's because of that, because there's no sunlight for a long time of the year, and they're just living their best lives, and suddenly one of them says she's coming.
Well, he like has like a
It was like a seizure or an episode or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, a seizure,
Yes.
and then says she's awake.
She's awake and the
Yes,
power
she's
goes out.
awake.
And
And
then
I
the
was
power goes
like,
out.
oh no. Who is it?
Yeah.
Who is she?
I
Yeah.
love scary shit.
Me too.
I know.
I
you
have to
guys
say,
do.
so
Love it. I miss scary stuff.
me too. I don't know if have you guys watched like the other seasons, season 1?
I've only watched season 1.
Okay.
And I think I tried season 2 and I didn't like it.
How about you, Tracey? Did you see all the other ones?
I
or-
have watched season 1, which I did like.
Okay.
And then I get seasons 2 and 3 confused. Is the second one with
Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
see, that's the second season?
That's the one
think
with Rachel
so.
McAdams and Colin Farrell.
And like Vince Vaughn. Okay, I watched like 10 minutes of it and I said, this sucks. And I turned it off.
Yeah.
And then I watched the third season, which was okay.
Mahershala Ali.
Yes, I do love him, but yeah, that one was just okay.
So I only watched season 1, and I finished it. But I was not a huge fan of it. I didn't like it. But honestly, the reason why I watched season 1 is because I heard that Jodie Foster was coming out in season 4, and I'm a huge Jodie Foster fan. By the way, I'm loving this comeback that she has. Like, she's getting back in the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, you know what? Let me just
Beautiful.
kind of watch
Yeah, we
season
love
1.
it.
And I didn't like it. I hated it. But I was hoping that season 4 would be better, and surprisingly, it was.
I loved it.
But what to call
I
me?
loved. You guys didn't like season 1?
Tracey liked season 1, right?
Yeah, I like the first one.
I
I like the
loved
relationship
it.
between Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
And
Like,
Matthew.
I
And-
watched it because of them. The case that they were
And-
trying to solve was like meh.
See, for me, it was the
I
opposite.
also feel like because you also have to think of like this, that was done how many years ago?
I think it was in 2014. Was the first season.
And
so 10
for
years
me,
ago.
in 2014, when I watched it, was so impactful. Now, if I watch it now, because we've been exposed to so much in the last 10 years, it might not affect me the same. I might not appreciate it the same.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say was that when season 4 starts, as you mentioned, you know, that guy having that episode, and then looking back and saying she's awake, and immediately I thought, wait, is this a supernatural thing happening? I was like, hold on a
Yes,
second, because this
same.
isn't. I mean, I haven't seen season 2 or 3, but I was like, this is not like True Detective, like to have a supernatural feel to it or a theme to it. And I was like confused. I'm like, but also loving it because I love this type of shit. I mean, that the others.
I feel like they always have that. For me, I see it more as a spiritual thing.
For True Detective, you
Then-
mean, or
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it more rather than supernatural, like spiritual.
yes. Well, in this season, let me be clear it was spiritual, and I think that's the correct terminology. And I say that because obviously season 4 revolves around a lot of the culture and I'm gonna probably not pronounce it correctly, but the Inupiaq community out in Alaska, or in this town or village. And based on the show, you know, obviously they have these traditions and this culture and stuff like that. But I love that they incorporated that into the show, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I don't know if you guys know this, but the her co-star, Jodie Foster's co-star, what is her name? Evangeline Callie, who lives in South Philadelphia. So Callie,
hey,
wanna link up,
neighbors,
we could be friends. But
So
Evangeline Navarro, she's half Dominican. Her character's half Dominican. Did you guys know that?
Oh.
She said that
I
in an
did not know
interview
that.
with Jodie Foster. I think it was on CNN or something like that. But she mentioned that her character.
So the character story.
Yeah, the character story is half Dominican. Her father, who she mentions in the series, is Dominican. But
Wow.
because I noticed, I was like, they keep calling her Navarro, and I was just like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's
a Latin last name.
last name, and she confirmed it that she's playing a half Dominican character. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But anyway,
because they focus so much on her like Native American roots. I feel like
Yeah.
because her trying to find her like tribal name and
Right.
the connection that she has with that community. So I feel like there was more of a focus on that, which just in general, overall, like the indigenous people
yeah,
in general and like their culture and community, I think was a huge overarching theme in this, which I loved because I feel like not a lot of people probably know about a lot of, you know, Native American tribes and their community and culture. So that was interesting. I like that.
I loved it. It was really focusing on that and incorporating that into the show, into the theme, and I was like sucked in, you know, into the different
right away.
relationships. You know, like all the neighbors know each other. Like that one scene when she's in the car with her stepdaughter and they got cut off by a drunk driver, and she's like, "You fucking bitch," you know, like, "You're drunk. Are you drunk again?" And I was just like, oh man, like, feed it to me. Like, I love when they give us like backstory, you know, like they give a character to a community. So it reminded me of like Mayor of Easttown, you know, Easttown being very small.
I got that vibe when I
Yeah.
was watching this season too. It made me think of it a lot.
Right,
Yeah.
where everyone knows everyone. Everyone's in everyone's drama. I love that.
And when you're done with the show, Max says, suggest a show, Mayor of Easttown.
Mayor of East. Oh, they did.
Yeah, I was
job.
like, I already seen
I've
it.
seen this. I've actually seen Mayor twice.
Of course we have. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, let's get back to this story.
Sorry, because I love to ramble.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. So he says she's awake. Electricity goes out. One of them starts running, basically. The one that says she's awake. Because he's the only one that's feeling, you know, whatever is coming for them.
Yeah.
Right, like a presence or intuition, or I don't know what it is.
And spirit.
Yeah.
And he starts running. It goes dark. Next thing we know is that these guys, well, except 2 of them, or like 7 of them, whatever. Most of them end up naked, frozen, and they are found kind of like a couple of miles away, or like 2 miles away.
They're out a little ways.
Yes, from the station. But the question is, was this a natural disaster or were they killed? And that's basically how the story starts.
Well, also I think it's so interesting that character Rose, when she sees that guy and he's barefoot, and I'm like, there's no way you can't be barefoot in the snow, like he's not real, right? And it turns out that it is like his ghost, his spirit, and she ends up following him, and he points her in the direction of all these men, and she's the one who makes the discovery. So I think also early on it's bringing in that supernatural spiritual world too, of like certain people can see those who have passed on. So I thought that made it really interesting.
Yeah. I had so many questions because I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a spiritual show or not. I was like, I didn't know what to expect. And
So much of everything.
So much of everything, and then I love a whodunit,
Oh,
like
of course.
A whodunit, how did it happen? And there's two murder cases, I guess, going on where there's the 8 men, right? Was it 8 you mentioned?
Yes.
Who died in the snow naked.
Well,
seven.
6?
I think it's
7?
6. Two of them.
Well, because one of them wakes
One
up
of them
after
hit.
his leg snaps off.
And he wakes
And then
up
they're
screaming.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh my God.
How is that even possible? And then we discover that the at one point Jodie Foster's character Danvers, he finds a tongue, at the lab or whatever the place is called, and it might be linked to a murder that happened years before, who they still haven't found.
An unsolved case.
It's another unsolved case. So I'm like, ooh, I love this. Not only do we get one unsolved cases, we get 2. And I love a fucking whodunit. You guys know that. So I'm like, let's fucking go. Bring me in to the office. I want to look at files. I love that scene when Jodie is putting out all of those pictures in a circle.
Oh my God.
And
I'm like, there must be
yes,
something in the pictures.
Let's go. And she finds something in the
She
picture.
does find something.
She finds a clue.
Also, let's talk about the relationship between Danvers and Navarro, how it starts. They basically cannot stand each other.
Yeah.
Actually, Navarro cannot stand Danvers.
Navarro can't stand Danvers, but you don't think that Danvers also has a little kind of thing against Navarro too, where she just kind of brushes her off.
I think it's personal.
Yeah.
And also I think she's kind of racist.
Ish,
Right?
right? Let's talk about,
Oh, yeah.
That's-
Because when she said something about, I'm sorry, I don't remember which episode it is. She goes over to young Agent Pryor,
Right.
his house, and his wife Kayla, and her grandmother's there, and she says something to her, and she's like, "Okay, laundry grandma."
Yeah, laundry grandma, and
Like
then,
I get, you get the sense that she's a
What
little
does
bit
that
racist towards Native American community. Like she kind of, and then when she tells her stepdaughter, "Wipe that shit off your face," because she has the 3 lines.
Yeah.
Well, I thought when she said "wipe that shit off your face," I thought she was trying to protect her
that's what I thought.
because these people are being targeted right now.
I thought that in that moment, but I agree with Tracey.
I think it's all of it, and
Yeah.
you know what? I love this show so much because the characters are so complex. It's no black and white. There's so much gray area. So even with all of that motivation of just wiping it off her face, I think it's tenfold. Yes, she's being protective of her. I think she has racist or bigoted opinions against the Native American community, because then you see that change toward the end. That, well, I don't want to
she respects them at the end,
right? Because I think she's educating herself too. When you get to know people and their background and why they do the things they do and why they believe in certain things, I think you grow respect.
I think it's also a defense mechanism because we find out very early on that something traumatic happened to her, and we don't know what it is.
My God.
I still don't know. I have questions.
I think I know. I mean,
it was her son.
my assumption is that her son and her husband were in a car accident and they both lost their lives. Right?
But she said something about going under the ice.
Yeah, I thought the kid drowned.
Oh. So then
don't
what is
know.
all the glass? Remember there's
glass,
a scene when
like
she's walking on
The frozen thing,
maybe?
the frozen water.
Oh shit,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
See, that's
There
what I'm
must
saying.
be
They
a
don't.
YouTube
They don't.
video with
Yeah, they don't spell it out for you. Like, she doesn't say, "Oh, my son Holden and my husband Jake were killed in blah blah blah." Like, they don't
it's for
come
you
out
to
and
figure
say
it
it.
out.
Right. So I have so many questions because I think that explains a lot of her behavior.
Why?
Like
She
you're
becomes
saying,
a bitter
like,
bitch. Yeah, because of
it shapes her.
And I think that this Native American community, they believe in like the afterlife and the spiritual world, and for her, in her mind, she's become so bitter that she's like, oh, shut the fuck up, that doesn't exist, you know what I mean? Like, there's no afterlife, and so I think it's like a coping mechanism for her, so it's like Tracey said, that it's so many different parts to it, so fucking complex. It's just like, and then she sleeps with every man in the town to kind of
she's
numb
a little
herself.
hoe.
I know.
I think
I'm
it's to
sorry,
numb
seeing
herself.
Jodie Foster having sex, I almost
Oh
cried.
my god, I know. It's like,
I know.
I was
Her
like,
kissing
I feel
a man.
uncomfortable.
I felt
That's my mom.
Jody.
It doesn't matter if it was with a girl either. I was like, I don't want to see this.
I don't know why. I just can't.
No, I've seen her since I was little.
Right.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like,
that's no.
But I think that she's a hoe. But I also felt like she was doing it to numb herself, because there was that one scene
To feel something.
to feel something, because she would always go to the cop that she was fucking when something happened that she just couldn't
Said
deal with.
19 years, and she was even having an affair with him when she was with her husband.
Yeah. So maybe I could be wrong.
Because
I
he said
forgot about that.
you were with Jake, and she was like, yeah.
I love that though.
Awkward.
She's fucked everyone.
Yeah.
That's- I kinda love
Doesn't Navarro like, oh, she really doesn't like you? And she was like, well, maybe because I fucked her husband.
She's like, him too?
Yeah.
That's probably how she was coping with the grieving.
But she's
you
like,
know?
is there anyone in this town who you haven't fucked?
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that. I
Yeah.
Also, I feel now that we're talking about her losing her son, I feel like she was treating the kid. What was his name?
Leah?
Prior?
Oh, Pryor.
Prior,
Yeah.
like her son.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
I was like, he's a replacement of what she lost
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
she didn't let him breathe.
I had an issue with that relationship in the beginning because I felt bad. You know, his marriage is
I
too
felt
hard on
so
him.
bad.
she's so hard on him. His marriage is on the rocks because of this. You know, he's like, it's Christmas, you know? Like, I want to be
She's
home with
like,
my
I don't
family.
give a
promised my
shit.
son I would. And she's like, I don't give a shit. Did I hear a no? Are you telling me no? You know? So I'm like, why are you so hard on him? You know?
Yeah.
But I also feel like she needed to be hard because his dad was an asshole. Like, what a horrible, horrible human being.
I have a question. Did anybody feel like when he was talking to his like Russian bride that was actually like a real thing, or did you know that was a scam?
I knew it was a scam because I've been watching 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, same, right?
Yes.
It's also the way he described it. I wanted to be like, are you stupid? But then I was like, they're in Alaska. Like, there's not much going on there.
Yeah.
Right.
What the
And I
fuck
mean-
is she gonna want to go up there for?
I know, and oh, my mom is sick. Oh, let me send you money.
Which we
Idiot.
find out
Oh
that it's
my
the
God.
money
And
that
he's
he
supposed to
got.
be a cop.
Right. So
Like, you would think that he was a little bit smarter, but I guess love is blind.
love is
It
blind.
is.
Yeah, he's
It
an
is.
idiot.
We keep going back to that show, huh?
But me too. But
But I didn't feel bad for him. I was like,
I
you know,
didn't feel
he's an
bad for him. He's
asshole,
such an
and
asshole.
he deserves
I felt bad
to
for
get
a
stood up.
second, and then I was like, whatever.
And
It's
then
fine.
I didn't feel bad for him, and then I felt even less bad for him when I found out that he was the one that moved this girl's body. What's her character's name? Was it
Annie K. When he's sitting in the car with the CEO
Yes.
or whatever of Silver Sky Mining, and they're having their conversation, I was like, oh, so he's a fucking dirty cop.
Right.
Not that I'm surprised, but wow.
Exactly. Like, we all knew he was from the beginning.
dirty
we
cop.
got that vibe.
Hiding evidence
right.
in his house.
And when he was like, you promised me chief of police. And I was like, ooh, can you imagine him being chief of police? Nothing would ever get
Gross.
done.
Piece of shit. And then
Nothing.
all the
And
money.
he seemed like way more racist.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
All the money
For sure.
that he
Oh, my
got for
goodness.
moving the body, he sent it to that Russian chick.
That's really true.
Yeah. He's like, that money's gone now. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
What an idiot.
That's
Oh my
funny.
God. People stop sending money to your Russian wives. Please.
Who are really like
Stop.
old men
Yeah.
Probably.
with
Send it to-
scamming
pot bellies
Send it
and
to
bald
us
heads.
here. We need money. I need money.
Thank you.
I'm going to post the cash
Thank
app
you.
on the Instagram.
That'd be great.
By the way, if you're not following us on Instagram and TikTok, you should.
Yes.
But anyway, I digress.
Enough about us being poor.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they're
Speaking of
poor.
being poor, yo, Ennis is fucking poor. Also, like, everything's so
And
expensive.
they have dirty ass
When-
water.
What's that?
They can't even
So-
drink the water.
Can't
It's
even drink the
dirty.
fucking
Wait.
water.
So listen to this. At one point, you know how they would see things, they would feel things. I like turn around and I tell my boyfriend, I was like, do you think they're hallucinating from like the poison of the water?
Ooh, that's a good theory.
I thought that's where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Because you know how Navarro's sister said, like, I keep hearing, you know, it makes me want to go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, that must be it. You know, as a person that I'm not super, I do believe in energy, but I'm not like super spiritual or religious, you know, or any of that. So I was like, maybe it's the poison in the water that they've been using, and that's making them like act, you know,
Right.
weird.
And then they mentioned they had all those stillbirths that had been happening.
Yes.
My thing though with Navarro's sister Julia, I didn't catch on right away with the whole water because their mom had mental health issues. So I thought maybe, you know, it is hereditary. And then later she said that she had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So I kind of thought maybe it was more of a mental health issue. And even Rose says, don't confuse the spiritual world with mental health issues or something. Yeah, like don't blur those lines, that they're separate. So I wasn't sure.
And now Navarro thinks, I could have misinterpreted this, but Navarro was also starting to believe that she had mental health issues, right? Or was it that she felt that she was getting called from the spiritual world?
She also felt that they would also see the fucking orange
Yeah.
everywhere.
Then the wet footprints.
Well, let's talk about this one. So you mentioned, Nikki, that Navarro can't stand Danvers, and then basically they can't
Yeah,
stand
the journey of
there's
those
history
two
there.
characters.
You know, we find out, oh, something's happened here. We don't know what yet. And as the layers, you know, as
Peel
we
back
go-
like an
peel
onion.
back, thank you, Tracey. We discovered that there was an incident years ago. They were partners. There was an incident.
It was only 3 years prior, I think.
Was it just 3 years? Oh,
Yeah.
where they showed up on site of this domestic abuse situation, and
Yeah.
they found, you know, the husband sitting there with his dead wife who he murdered moments ago. He was laughing, and Navarro sees something. You know, she sees like a ghost, or, you know, just pointing at her or pointing something, and who was it that killed the guy? Was it Danvers or was it Navarro?
That
It
killed
was-
who?
Who killed Wheeler? It was Navarro.
Navarro.
Shot him.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Danvers said, I was about to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were about to do it, and
I think they were so bonded, but also like so bonded by that secret, but so
damaged.
resentful
Resentful.
towards each other.
Because they had to cover
From
their
that.
tracks.
Yes.
Yes, but also I
Yes.
think, doesn't Danvers say that, wasn't it Navarro who kept saying, I'm trying to remember that they had a disagreement about this case, because I think this was like their fourth time getting called to this house.
I think it was more than
More
that.
10. It was 10.
Yeah.
And Navarro was like, we need to do something, and Danvers was like, we don't. Right?
Yeah.
Well, it was hard because they were trying to get the wife to press charges, and then she'd be
And
like,
she
"Oh,
kept-
no, I fell. Unfortunately, women who are in domestic abuse situations usually end up saying, "Oh, no, it's my fault.
Yeah.
I was, clumsy."
Right.
And
The
she
victims.
wouldn't press charges. So I think there was a frustration there of like, we want to get this guy. Like, he's such a piece of shit. So when she's murdered, it was unfortunately like writing on the wall. Like, it was going to happen. And it's
Yeah.
just so unfortunate. And that anger. And then he's just sitting there in the chair whistling like, yep, I did it.
I see. Okay, so I misunderstood. I thought that it was one of those situations where Navarro kept kind of warning Danvers, we need to do something about this situation, and Danvers just kept brushing it off, and after the 10th time, something eventually happens, and now Navarro's like, you see, I fucking told you, and now we have 2 dead people on our hands, you know? So I felt like that added to
Well,
that
at the
tension.
beginning, we always thought it was a murder-suicide.
Yes, we all thought that.
We
Well,
all
'cause
thought
that's-
that, and
yeah.
then we find out as the episodes go that actually one of them killed him because they were done with his fucking shit. He was an abusive asshole. He did not deserve to live,
Yeah.
and I think it was the right thing to do.
Fuck that piece of
For,
shit.
for them, it was justice.
Yeah.
Right. And Danvers was just about to do it right before she did, you know. But I love their relationship between the 2 of them. You know, I love that they have that bond. I love that they're complex characters. I also love Navarro's character so much, how complex it is, and the love for her sister, and just trying to help her, and just trying to deal with her own shit, and how this guy, Kavik is just like, literally, he's in love with her, you know.
I know.
And she puts
I
up
love
this
their relationship.
wall, you know, he really cares
Yeah.
about her. And I think she loves the man too, you know. She obviously
yeah.
loves him, but she has her own issues that she's like, I can't, you know. She just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has to work on, and she's getting pulled in all different directions and stuff like
Well,
that.
she just has so much anger too, because how many fights does she get
She has
in?
so much anger. So much.
Like, she's just picking fights left and right. I mean, she even beats the shit out of a fellow trooper when they have that huge protest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they start clubbing Leia. And I know she's protecting her because it's personal. Like, she knows her.
Yeah.
But then to just beat the crap out of, like, your fellow coworker who's supposed to be there breaking up fights, not
Yeah.
causing them.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
So she definitely has her own anger issues and things that she's dealing with. Because I think that's after Julia dies, right? So I know she's like dealing with that or not dealing with it.
Yes. She's
When she
really
slashes
angry.
his tire at first, before that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was
that
like in
guy in the
episode
beginning when she goes to, what do they do? They like shell crabs or something.
Yeah, they work like in a seafood factory or something like that.
Right, and that guy is laid out on the floor with like a broken nose.
Yeah.
And she ends up beating the shit out of him
Right.
because he hit another female worker.
I think it's also the bringing up the differences in, you know, within women, gender, women and men, and also being a woman of color. She has so much rage and anger, and it was a white man, you know. He was like, you put a hand on another woman, you know. No,
Yep.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, because he was like bragging about it with his dude, and she was like, look at this motherfucker, you know. And
Right.
it just pisses her off. She
I think he was calling her slurs or
Yeah.
like bitch or this and that.
Sure.
So she's not going to take that.
Yeah. And also, like, I would think that in a neighborhood, in a town like Ennis, where it's so small, and there's native people and white people, that the white people would be more embracing of the culture, you know, of the native
Yeah.
people there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like we could say that about so many parts of
The world.
the United
Yeah.
States.
World.
But even just the states in general, like how like most places have like a Chinatown or Koreatown or that, and there's look
No
how
such
many
thing.
yeah, look how many times that we've seen in the news. I mean, with Black Lives Matter, and then the Asian community, the Jewish community
You don't
being
see- you don't
targets
hear
of
the
of
native-
hate crimes,
Yeah.
and it's like we're supposed to be like a blended country, and I know obviously like Caucasian is going to be the predominant race, but there's plenty of other cultures and races that we have, and we hear so much about people of different ethnicities and races getting killed or hurt all the time. So yeah, you would like to think that there would be more unity, but I think it also speaks to America as a whole, that we are
Yeah.
divided.
I guess
Yeah.
I was just too naive, but you're right.
You're very optimistic.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
very
it.
I was very optimistic that I was just like,
You're so cute.
I kind of forgot. No, you're right. I really did forget because I'm just like, well, why are you so racist, Danvers? Or
I know.
not just her, but like Pryor and everyone else. I was like, I don't
Yeah, a
get
bunch
it.
of them.
Like a bunch of
Well,
them.
yeah, 'cause,
Why
like,
is it-
hers-
you can clearly
hers-
see the divide.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And also like the native people just having resentment toward white people because they were like, we were here first. This
You
is
took our land.
land.
You're
You took
killing our land. You're
killing
poisoning
our land,
it.
You're poisoning our land. You're poisoning us. And
Tell
that-
us all this
the
time.
chant was like, we were here
It's
before.
been like
we
that
will
forever.
Be here
Yep.
after, when you're gone. I think that was the chant that they kept saying in the riots.
What was it, Joe? Say it
I
again.
don't fucking know. Wait, what was it? We were here before.
Hell no! White people need to go.
Yeah, literally. That could be the chant. But I don't know. I guess I am optimistic, And I'm thinking also this is a TV show where it's fake, I was like hopeful that that it would not be
You're
reality.
trying your best
but-
there.
But no.
Yeah, I really do feel like. I mean, I hope that in Alaska maybe it isn't that bad, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I want to get back into the unsolved cases, right? So I love the nitty gritty of this. The 6, 7 guys, however many guys were missing. The entire time they're trying to determine what happened. Were they
Yeah,
murdered?
that was a huge like, what the
Did
fuck?
they run out and kill themselves? Like all of these theories were going so crazy.
Guys, when they're thawing the bodies, I was like, this is gross.
So
in a
gross.
gymnasium from a school.
Oh, the ice rink.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's
I'm like,
it's
come
this is what you
on.
kind of have to do. Like as a detective, I was like wondering. I was like, would I love doing this type of job? But you have to have a heavy stomach, a hard stomach, and
Oh, absolutely.
strong mind because that's rough. It's so deep.
I mean, imagine the smell.
Oh, I didn't even think of the
The
smell.
smell, well, it's not actually, they're frozen, so it's not bad. It's once they start melting. But also thinking,
Gasp.
like, you can't separate them because they're so frozen that if you do, they're going to break.
And the way that they were just like in different poses. So it's like, were they running and freeze, and like
Right,
they
and
were,
their eyes are burned
their
out.
eyes were burnt
and-
out. They were like, how could you be
The frostbite?
so afraid that you run out naked without your shoes on? Like, what happened?
Right.
Did you guys have like any theories? Were you guys right at all? Like, did you guys guess?
My
Yeah, I
guess
had
was
no fucking
the
clue.
my guess was the poison. But then I was thinking, because they were naked, I was like, somebody must have done this to them. What happened at the end was never in my head.
Never.
That was never a theory. That was I was
loved
like,
it,
oh my
though.
god, this yes,
I
it's
was
that twist and turn.
floored.
I was like, this makes so much sense. Why didn't I even think of that?
Right.
I
Because the thing is, it's a little bit of an Occam's razor, where like when you really boil down to all the information they know at the end, you're like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of obvious, but for me, I was like, maybe it's all the ghosts. Like,
know,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
'cause
like there
I
was such
thought
like
so
a
too.
supernatural element. So I
It
was
was
like,
the one spirit though, because at the end of the day, what they did was like, we just let them go, naked, And
Well, and then the circle symbol.
and they said if this
that kept
'cause I
showing
guess
up.
that
So it was like, is
the
it something
symbol-
like witchcraft or?
Well,
Yes.
hold on a second. So remind me. So because there's kind of like a chain of events. The way that we find out what happened is because of what happened to Annie K. Right. So Annie was in a relationship.
Yes.
With one of the
Yes.
guys.
So
at the
when
site.
Danvers laying out all those pictures, and she finds a picture of Annie K with Clark.
Right, Clark.
Who's
so
one of the
obviously that's a
researchers
relationship
at Salal.
there. So then we find out there's a
And then
relationship there. Something's been going on.
And then Navarro finds the paper trail for the trailer
Yes.
that Clark bought, where he and Annie were having their secret relationship. And then they get in there, and there's like all the animal bones and
Right. And
ritualistic shit.
then eventually they find out that she was murdered in the caves. Something happened in the caves. They find the
Because they
guy.
find the video.
Yes, because of the video. They find
the
a
phone.
guy who has a cave map. They find that secret cave, and they find Clark, which was so fucking terrifying.
Oh my god, that scared the
That
shit out of
scared
me.
the shit
My
out of me.
gosh,
Like, I
yeah.
jumped and gasped. They chase him down and they beat him to like speak up, and he confesses that
Well, they torture him.
they tortured him, which I love that because they were like, she was like, I want some coffee. You want some coffee? Like, let's take a break.
That's
After
good.
they like tape the headphones of Annie
Of her
K's video of her
screaming,
just
which I was like,
screaming.
oh, that's so good.
That's torture for sure,
Torture.
especially if
I
he
was like,
loved
that's
her.
the woman that you loved? Okay, well, now you're going to hear her scream as she died. You piece of shit.
Yeah.
And eventually, Annie found out some very unfortunate stuff, shady shit. And they
that the research center was
funding them
poisoning-
to give them bogus
poisoning
numbers
the-
so that they can continue going.
right with the toxins
Right.
and
Which, that shit really happens. Right? Let's be honest.
I mean
know?
all that
And-
stuff that was happening in Michigan with their drinking water and stuff.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
But that murder, Annie's murder, I thought was so brutal. Like, so brutal. Sorry, guys. My dog is fucking acting up. I'm talking about Annie's
love
murder,
it.
Brody, and you're causing a fucking scene. Like, Brody
like,
brought
"Is it
all of my
playtime?"
wires, all the wires that I have under my computer desk, he brought them all to the front. So,
aw, he wants attention.
anyway.
It's like, is it playtime?
Talking
or
about like
what?
heavy material here, and Brody's just like, what did this do? Anyways, I was saying, yeah, I thought that murder scene was just so brutal. The way they killed her.
It's scary because it was like a mass murder.
they were
There's
all, like,
7
stabbing
of them
her.
ganging up. Yeah,
And he's just standing there screaming, and I'm like, just thinking
little
about it right now, I
bitch.
felt like so awful. I
He's
mean,
a pab, just standing there. And his girlfriend's
standing
getting
there,
killed.
just letting her get killed, and she's screaming and
Just like
singing.
crying too.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, dude, like just shut the fuck up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done with him.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
jumping to how these fucking piece of shits got murdered is so
best
iconic.
way.
Yeah.
The best
I mean,
way.
talk about
Poetic
vindication.
justice.
Talk about
Yes.
that moment when Danvers and Navarro are sitting there in that kitchen with these women, and they're talking about a story, a bedtime story. I loved it, of like what could have happened. And I was like, that scene was so fucking good. I had watched it twice. I was watching it with my boyfriend. I was like, wait, let's watch this shit again. Because this shit is
Yeah.
iconic. And the music in the background, I thought that scene was
So good.
done so well. Like, I love
So good.
women who are badass, badass
Yeah. Oh,
women
yeah.
who kick ass, no fear. I was actually so
Mm-hmm.
afraid of, like, every time they would show them in that kitchen, I was like, what's going to happen? Because they were coming in one by one, slowly.
Yeah.
And I was
Yes.
like,
When they kept
It's
filing
like-
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I
like backing her up.
they were
You could
backing
see
her
Jodie
up.
Foster being like,
Oh shit! And I was like
Something
feeling
gonna
it,
go
and they were
down?
basically saying, "This is what happened, and if you do something,
Yep.
you bet you
Yep.
like, we'll take care
Yeah.
of you too."
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it was a threat. Like play no
So good.
fucking games, and I was just like, "Holy shit! I'm terrified."
Right.
Like so fucking good.
But it's like they were responsible for their murders, but they weren't. Because I love that they were like...
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They didn't do it.
We let them go, and we left their clothes there. So if they wanted to come back, they could have. Right. But we just let Annie do her thing. Right. So it's like there really was justice, like you were saying, Nikki, because
so
they were
justice.
They were avenging Annie's death so hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love it too, because in the beginning they interviewed them. They're like, "Oh, we're just the cleaning ladies. Like we don't do anything." And you
they
just
all
sort of
knew something.
They're in the background, and then it's like, wow, that was so good. I loved it.
Fucking good. I loved it.
It's definitely a twist and a turn that, as a viewer, you don't expect at all.
And
I was really amazed by the writing of it, because the whole time they kept me curious, but also making my own theories. And every time I would have a little theory, I was like, well, no, that wouldn't work. You know, it like I would have a theory for a second, and then I was like, that doesn't make sense. Wait, and this one was real. It gave us justice. It also gave us a purpose, because if you think of it, it's all these women standing with each other together, and let's avenge the death of this other person from our community too.
Yeah.
And it's
you attack one of us, you attack all of us.
Yeah.
That's true.
That was what it's like,
And the pacing through like the whole series was so good. Like you're saying, Nikki, it was like it would give you questions, but it was also answering things. It was like a little bit at a time. It was just enough, so it like kept you going until the very end. And the writing and the pacing of the show was perfect.
And talking more poetic justice, Peter killing his own dad.
Oh my God, how do we jump over that part? Holy shit.
So wait, I have a question. Do you think that when the dad was sort of starting to raise his hand with the gun, do you think that he would have shot Danvers? Or do you think that because the last thing he said to his son was blood is blood, and then started lifting his gun, so he knew that his son would shoot him? So, like, do you think that he was sort of like, well, you take me out because I don't want to go to prison, and I've already shot this guy, Otis?
Yeah, so I see what you mean.
I had that same question, Tracey. Nikki?
I think I think like Peter had a better relationship with Danvers than what he did with his dad.
His dad slapped him.
Yeah, that piece of shit.
When he stole the file, he was like, pap.
Yeah, there's so many paps around. What the hell? So I think he knew that the person that Peter was gonna back up was Danvers the whole time, and I do think what was his name? The captain, whatever. I think he was gonna...
The guy that she was fucking? Danvers? The guy that...
No.
Okay.
Peter's dad.
Wasn't it Peter?
Oh, Hank. I think Hank was definitely gonna kill Danvers, because Danvers was the only person that was finding out about the fucking cave, and all the information was gonna blow up, and he was basically getting paid to shut that down. So it's like, I gotta, because when he had that meeting with the CEO of the company, she was like, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't kill people.
Yeah. Well, he had to, because, he was the one who moved the body. He was already involved. He was bribed, which is already illegal, and then if he didn't even have enough reasons to hate Danvers, his son had a relationship with Danvers, one of his enemies, who he resented. So, I don't see I don't see why he wouldn't want to kill her. I think he thought, blood is blood. So he probably assumed that if I kill Danvers right now, my son is going to have my back and defend me. Obviously, that didn't happen. He thought wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's a pab.
Yeah.
I have another question. Going back to the murders. Okay, so the tongue. What's the story with the tongue? Was it Annie's tongue? And who put it there?
I definitely think it was Annie's tongue because they did
Yeah.
DNA and they said it was hers. And also she had the lines from, I guess, when they do their like fishing and stuff. So like it was definitely her tongue. But yeah, that was the question I had too of like, then who put it? Because when Danvers asked the women, like, did you put her tongue there? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, but even if they did know what they were talking about, like even if it was them, it still doesn't make sense. Nikki, do you?
Well, I also, my theory was that maybe they want these people to get caught by leaving some type of evidence in the station, the research station. But then again, at the beginning, you're not thinking of any of that.
Oh, I'm with you there, Nikki. That was one of my theories, the one that you just mentioned, that they wanted to keep the tongue as evidence to kind of pin the blame on these men on the site. But if I'm correct, no one knew who killed Danny. Like, does that mean that these women knew that?
They said that they didn't know until
They didn't know,
like
right? They said
a
that
year
they didn't know
before.
until like a year before they went in and stormed and kicked all of these men out. So that's why that theory doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Because who had her tongue?
So it's like, who had her tongue and who put it there? Unless it was Annie. And this is like a spiritual.
The spirit.
Because when Danvers said, like, who, to Clark, I think it was, like, did you know that her tongue had been cut out? And he was like, what?
I'm an idiot.
So.
Go ahead, Tracey. Sorry. Continue.
No, go ahead.
I'm an idiot because I remember I looked it up and I forgot the answer. And I'm going to be asking you guys like I didn't know the answer.
Wait, do you remember the answer? Because I was going to say, is there a meaning
is this in Fun
someone's
Facts?
tongue?
It's not in Fun Facts, is it?
No.
Okay, so my boyfriend looked it up actually because we both had the same question. And the director did that on purpose and she left it up to our interpretation. So obviously the answer is more informative than my answer. If you read the article, she provides more detail than what I just did, but that's all I remember. I don't remember what else. But
they love fucking doing that.
They fucking love doing that. I'm just like,
evidence, so
I know.
I need answers.
I need answers.
Closure.
I get anxiety.
I'm not that smart.
Me either.
I also felt like if it was the true, if it was the cleaning ladies that wanted to target the men, wanted to pinpoint them and be like they were the ones, I was like, yeah, they would definitely do the tongue because they didn't want her to speak and say what she had found. So that was like my only connection. But then they tell us later that they didn't fucking know until late. So God,
my thing is,
the show does.
Right. My thing is, okay, so those men in the research center, they kill Annie. Then the CEO finds out about it of Silver Sky, gets Hank to move her body. Maybe he cut out her tongue.
Maybe, yeah.
And then that's the thing. Then what happens to it?
I don't know. I think it was more of a spiritual thing. I think Annie put it there. I think if, Annie put it there. I don't know.
I don't know, but
and
I feel
she put
like
it there as like maybe hoping that will leave a clue to link both. I don't know.
I feel like if it was her, she would have done it sooner. Because, like, it's been 7 years. So why would you wait that long to get your death avenged or to get justice? Why wait that long? Like, when you want it... If I were a dead spirit, I'd be like, let's fucking go and solve this shit so I could lay at peace.
True, but I feel like the quote-unquote spirit was waiting for them to be brought to her because they put the thing on their forehead to call her in when the cleaning ladies like get them naked and then they draw the sign on their foreheads, it's like, well, if Annie is out there, you know, she'll feel them because they have this on their forehead.
Right.
So again, I don't know anything about, you know, Native Americans and, you know, their beliefs and how their spirituality works, but I think she was waiting. She needed help to get the vengeance completely.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my theory.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I could see that if that was sort of the route that they were going. It's like, okay, now I have these women who are finding answers for me. Mm-hmm. So that, like, her presence was really
Her
strong.
community. Mm-hmm.
And then when Clark had his little seizure and was like, she's awake, it was like,
Oh my
okay,
fucking God.
Annie's there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to jump into the very, very last shot of the series or the season of, well, first let me backtrack a little bit. You know, when they start interviewing Danvers and Pryor about, like, well, what happened to Navarro, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
I think it must be a, what do you call it? Oh my gosh. Never mind.
Well,
my
basically,
brain is-
An
what I
audit?
wanted to say, a what?
Deposition.
A deposition? Yes.
Decision.
Ay, ay, ay.
I was just like, I loved, absolutely loved, and it's like burned into my memory, that image of Danvers and Navarro out on that deck. And
Yeah.
Navarro's just like detached from everyone and everything, like just disconnected. And I first of all, the bond between them two. You know?
Yeah, their journeys.
It's like
not
their
really
journey
nice.
and like
Well, it's like everything they've been through
everything
together.
they've been through, and
Yeah.
like Danvers has her back no matter what, and like you know, vice versa, and
There's an understanding
There's an
and a
understanding
respect there. I
and a
feel with like
respect there.
their traumas that they've gone through with like Danvers losing her son and then Navarro with her sister. So like they're both damaged women. So I think that there's a bond there.
and they come together and they build like this friendship, this relationship, where
Do you guys think Jodi's gonna get nominated for this role? Because
She should.
there's that moment right before Navarro walks out when electricity's out, they're in front of the fire. It's both of them, and she's talking about her son. I was like, that monologue broke my heart completely. And she was like, "Don't you fucking dare talk about it."
maybe
So yeah.
she get.
I think both of them should get nominated.
I think they should get both of them should get nominated. And someone was telling me that they didn't like the way that Callie, was that her name? The one who plays Navarro. Someone said that she was they didn't like the way she acted, and I was like, what? I was
Well,
like,
they
she's such a
don't
bad
know
actress.
anything.
I was like, excuse me.
I don't say she's bad. I don't think she blew my mind.
I thought she was really
I thought
good.
she was really good for someone who has no acting experience. She's a bodybuilder. I think she's a boxer, I think. I thought she did a really good job, you know. I didn't think was she phenomenal? No, but she did really good. I believed her, you know, and I liked her. She didn't make me cringe. She's no Blake Lively, you know.
I mean, it was a very complex, meaty role. Like, there's a lot to pack in those 6 episodes. And, like, for me, it's like I got a sense of, I mean, obviously, like, her anger and her hurt and just this desperation of wanting to solve Annie Kay's murder.
Right. And it's such a complex character to play. You know, that character is already difficult to play. And I think she
has a lot of trauma from her past, and it's like they don't really say too much, even about the mom.
Right, they don't say
so
too much. So she had
there's a lot of filling in the blanks.
Yeah, and she did a good job. I think she did a really good job.
I thought she was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
that kind of segues into the ratings, which I have to say I'm disappointed by. You know, well, with the was it Rotten Tomatoes that gave it a bad review?
No.
What was it?
The audience.
What is the score? So
It was the audience.
yes.
It was the Rotten
So Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92%, but the audience score gave it a 57. Guys, what the fuck are you thinking? Like,
That is
Well,
so
I also
low.
think that's super low. I also
Super
think
low.
like True Detective is really catered. It's specific people that will like it. I don't think it's for everyone. Like I wouldn't tell my mom to watch it, you know. She'll be like, "What the fuck is this?"
well,
She won't get it, you know, but it's also like, you know, she's in a different country. She doesn't get it, you know.
also it could probably stem from the first season. I don't know about the second and the third because haven't watched it, but the first season is so like all about men and their wives and being the breadwinner and having affairs and you know this show is the two protagonists are women and one of them being a woman of color, and I thought immediately my mind went there. Sorry, but it did. I was like, oh, don't tell me it's these misogynistic racist assholes that are saying, oh fuck,
You know
this
what?
shit.
Let's look up.
Probably.
Let me look up True Detective season 1 ratings.
The ratings for season 1 are much greater. Like really good. Even on IMDb, season 4 this season got bad ratings. Like people did not like this season. I don't know why, but people loved season 1. You know,
People just really love Matthew McConaughey.
the people.
Yeah,
I don't fucking understand. Like, whatever.
they really do.
Yeah. So, I don't care what people say.
Wow.
I give it a 2 thumbs up. They can suck my dick.
I give it all the thought. I really enjoyed
I
it.
really-
I thought there were so many important messages in it too, and I like a movie or a TV show that is actually saying something. You know, it's not all this fluff. Like there's a lot of heavy issues, and I get maybe that's too much for people. You know, like the suicide and all the cultural and racist aspects. Maybe it's too much. It's too heavy for some people.
Discrimination.
Thank you. Yeah.
Murders and against the Native Americans.
Right. Maybe it's too
Yeah.
heavy for some people, but I just think that there was so much going on with the town, with the relationships between people. I just think it said a lot in only 6 episodes. So
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And the fact that it was written and directed by a female.
Yes.
Latina.
Let's fucking
Lisa
go.
Lopez. Do more work. Hire her.
Yes,
Cast her. She
please.
knows what she's doing.
And she created it too.
She created it. I was like, I really want to know how she came up with this story. Like, she must have done her research because to really understand this, you know, this tribal community and the spiritual world and their traditions and their culture, that's a lot of work, you know?
Absolutely. And creating all these characters who are so complex.
So
Like
many
all
stories.
of them
So
them
many
are so
stories.
complex. Yeah, and it's not straightforward. They're not surface level. Like there's a lot going on underneath
Right.
the surface.
And they bring us
So,
in, like, right in
bravo.
the middle of it, you know? Where things have happened 3 years before, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
putting all the pieces
I thought
together.
it was great.
I thought it was so good.
I loved it. So audience who voted 52%.
Get
Suck
the
it.
fuck out of here.
You're all Pabs.
Suck it.
All of you Pabs. And if you don't know what Pabs is, pussy ass bitch,
Paps left
Then
and
you are
right.
one.
go back to episode 1 and start from the beginning.
Right.
No,
Because
think
when
we
I
brought
said
it
I
up
didn't
in
know what it
episode
meant.
2. Okay, I'm ready for fun facts. I cannot
Yes,
wait
yes,
to
yes,
hear
yes.
them.
Tracy,
Okay.
give us the fun facts.
So I do have a few. So just real quick. First of all, in Hebrew, Salal, which is the name of the research center. So in Hebrew, Salal means to be or to become dark.
Dark?
Oh, wow. Okay.
To become dark.
Okay.
Which I just think is so interesting. Because also, we didn't even talk about the fact that there's like no sunlight.
No
There's
sunlight.
no light. Everything is so fucking dark in all these episodes. I mean, that's just amazing. In episode 1, when the food delivery worker comes and there's a shot of an overturned book that's open, I think like laying down on the counter, and the book is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, which is actually about a group of outlaws who murder indigenous peoples.
Ooh, that's the first clue right there.
Right. So there's a lot of like foreshadowing and like little clues with like Easter eggs and stuff. So I feel like going back a second time and watching it.
There were moments, I don't know if you're going to bring, I don't think you're going to bring this up, or maybe you are, but there were moments that it looked like there were faces in the back. That were like...
Oh, like The Exorcist?
Wait. Yeah, like masks in the back. I was like,
oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like on the wall, you mean? Like
yeah, like in there's like a scene with two people. There's like masks in the. I was like,
I gotta go back.
Which actually, that's really because don't we all wear masks?
Dude,
it's very interesting.
I wear so many of them.
I know. There's your work
I'm wearing
mask.
one right now.
There's your. Anyway, no,
okay. Back to fun facts.
In the scene where Danvers is trying to turn off the TV in the beginning when she walks into the facility and Twist and Shout is playing, Ferris Bueller's Day Off or whatever, and she finally opens up the cabinet and there's all the DVDs in there. One of them is the classic horror movie The Thing by John Carpenter. And Issa Lopez has said that that's one of her favorite horror movies.
And it took place in the ice.
Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know that movie too well, but I feel like there's probably some stuff from that movie that she like pulled from it. So I think it's interesting.
That's cute.
So Joe, you had asked where the show was filmed.
Right.
And it was filmed almost entirely in Iceland.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's just as cold up there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, Iceland is like dark for like 6 months, some shit like that.
Right. So yeah, I think it was that when they were wanting to film, it was just the right time.
Okay.
So it just worked out. And also I think there's something to do with like taxes, that it's like a little bit more affordable.
Oh,
so there
100%.
So there were other reasons, but that just set the scene for them. As mentioned earlier, Ennis, Alaska is not a real town, but it is inspired by a real area in Alaska called North Slope Bureau. One town in particular, I'm going to butcher the shit out of this, Uquagavik. That was wrong.
Right.
I am so sorry to the 5 people who live there. Shit. Actually, it's like 1,000 or something.
Imagine we have listeners there.
God.
I am so
We just
sorry.
lost
Please don't
those
stop listening
listeners.
to
Thank
us.
you, Tracey.
No, the one.
Just
Share-
email us with the pronunciation.
Please, like phonetically spell it out for me.
Email with the voice note.
Oh, that'd be great. It shares similarities with Ennis for its isolation and day-night cycle. So it is kind of based off of a real place.
Okay.
True Detective takes inspiration from 2 real-life cases. So the first is the Mary Celeste, and the second is the Dyatlov Pass. So, for those who don't know, the Mary Celeste was a merchant sailing vessel discovered abandoned and floating adrift in the Atlantic Ocean in December of 1872. The lifeboat was missing, but the crew aboard the ship were never heard from or seen again. And the Dyatlov Pass incident occurred in February 1959 when 9 Soviet hikers died in the Ural Mountains under suspicious circumstances. Their cause of death ranged from hypothermia to physical trauma, and definitive answers regarding what truly happened to them and force them to cut their way out of their tents in inadequate clothing for the sub-zero temperatures have never been revealed.
I'm sure, well,
Interesting.
there's a lot of deaths. I'm sure they're helping out there because you could probably get away with all of them.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Oh,
in
absolutely.
Those sorts of areas. The night country.
And then the last one. You had mentioned before, Joe, that Callie Reis, who plays Evangeline,
Yeah.
she is a professional boxer, which I had no idea. I thought was super interesting. But she does descend from Cherokee, Nipmuc, and Seekonk Wampanoag tribes.
Okay.
So she is Native American. But with her boxing career, she was a former world champion in 2 weight classes, having held the WBC female middleweight title in 2016 and the WBA, WBO, and IBO female light weight titles between 2020 and 2022. I have no idea what any of that means because I don't follow boxing, but that sounds super impressive.
That is really
good job.
impressive.
That is super impressive.
Yeah.
I know that she lives here in South Philly with her husband. But
Giovanni emailed her and
gonna-
was like,
yes,
hey,
Yeah,
I'm
have
going to
her
be talking
on.
about you.
she and I are best friends. We're going to have coffee this Sunday. So, you know, but I'm kidding. No,
And then
Kelly,
make
if you
sure
listen to
she
this,
comes on the podcast
yeah,
and we can interview her.
I
Exactly.
promise I'm a sane person. And I need friends here in Philly. What else?
So we all give it a thumbs up
I'll give it a
because it
thumbs
was a great
All
show.
the thumbs.
All
Yeah.
the thumbs. Even Brody.
I would definitely recommend to all my friends.
Oh, yes. I actually saw it twice. That's how much I loved it. I'm crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Nice.
I loved it.
Well,
so
again,
much.
like there's so many like Easter eggs and little things, and there's a lot of callbacks to the first season. So I feel like if you haven't seen the first season, maybe watching just these two, because the second and third one are like, so I feel like if you just watch the first season and this one, that's fine.
Yeah.
Watching it the second time around, I caught on a lot of little Easter eggs, and I was like, ooh, you know, you always learn more when you
The
watch
second time,
things
yeah.
the second time.
Except the masks, you didn't find the masks.
No, I didn't. Maybe because I wear one all the time. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us.
Good, yeah.
Don't
Thank
forget-
you
Follow,
for listening.
subscribe, comment, rate.
Comment, like, subscribe, rate, tell your friends, your parents, your loved ones, even the people you hate.
Follow us on
To
Instagram. Follow
listen
us
to our
on TikTok.
podcast. People in Europe are listening. They get it. So why
Yeah.
aren't
So
you
get to
in
it.
America? Get with the program. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, me either. We
Just
told
keep
them
talking
already.
about stuff that we watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. This is the show.
Okay.
Must Go
Thank you
On.
guys for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Okay. Au revoir.
And that's it.
Ooh, bye.
Bye.